the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's out to Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average shit. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
Grand Rising and good morning to all you beautiful folks out there. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and I'm so excited to be back in the studio with my guy, co-host with the most, Big O. What up, Big O?
Trey Holiday.
Hey.
What's up? Welcome back.
Thank you. Long weekend, but definitely well-deserving of a little bit of rest. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you're looking great today, too.
Thank you.
I know you're going to get lots of comments on your outfit today.
A little bit of color. Bringing the color in.
You bring the color. you bring a lot. Hey, it's about that time. I want to welcome everybody to the Morning Update Show and remind you right now is a perfect opportunity for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people who you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. I also want to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and also KBCS 91.3 over at Bellevue College. Want to remind everybody that you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. That's SoundCloud up there right now. That link is in the comments. But, of course, you can listen to the Morning Update Show on Apple iTunes, on Google, Spotify, anywhere where you listen to your podcast. What I got here? Oh, our Converge Pride shirts. Yeah, That's you, Mr. Director. Want to remind you, man, that the prize shirts are moving too. There's Trey Holiday, Alia D'Alessandro, and Omi. So we've got it black, white, and pink. You can go to whereweconverge.com/shop. Great opportunity for people to pick up some gear and support us.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that we keep coming out with new stuff too. So,
Yeah,
as people
we
are like,
fresh over
okay,
here.
yeah, I have my sweatshirt. I got, my zip up, a little t-shirt. Now they got a whole nother t-shirt that y'all can buy. So please go on there and support Converge.
Yeah, we keep it fresh. We want to remind you of this, and we're going to keep reminding you until around July 30th or July 31st. We're staying on message here with PSE. So PSE is offering COVID bill assistance. If you're a PSE customer, the utility moratorium runs out July 31st. They can help you with bills up to $2,500. The link is there in the comments. So go ahead and click on that link if you are a PSE customer and you need bill assistance. Also, next up here, reminder from Public Health, Seattle, King County, about that vaccine. If you're looking for the vaccine, remember, it's always free. If someone asks you to cash app them for the vaccine, it's Fugazi. We put the link there, kingcounty.gov/COVID. It's in the links. The vaccine is out there. It's readily available. You guys can go and, get it. If you need a vaccine, it's definitely there. In that website, the link we've just given gives you lots of resources. And what else do we have here? A few more things. If you go to our blog, happy about this. This is a big weekend here. Ike Everhart. If you go to Where We Converge /blog, Mariners honor Steelhead and salute to Negro League and Besa Gordon, the pop culture queen of Converge. You can go there to our blog right now. You can read up on those. Real special day over there at the ballpark when honoring the Negro Leagues. And Ike Everhart covered that. And one thing here I wanna bring up, this is in the overlays, Mr. Director, is this black girl this photo right here. Trey Holiday.
Yes. Wow. What an amazing photo.
Leave it up, Mr. Director.
Well,
we'll call for it to come down.
What an amazing photo. And honestly, what a representation of an amazing, amazing weekend. And, there we are. We have some black girl media happening. It's just like full black media. And Omari's there always, man, supporting for the brothers, man, up in media. But shout out to Besa Gordon, to Britt Moore, and to
Tyra Majors.
Yeah, Tyra Majors. I didn't want to get her last name wrong. But you know what? I had a great conversation with them, too, about what it means to be black women in media. And so I can't wait to try to dive into that more. Maybe we bring them on and capture that, because we've been talking about it, you and I. And, Besa and I have these conversations. Julia and I have these conversations. So it's great to bring in some of our local reporters into that discussion.
Yeah, and also, if you haven't seen the news over there, coming out of King 5 and Britt Moore. Today is Britt Moore's last day on air over at King 5. She's moving on into the corporate world. Britt Moore has brought us a lot of great community-focused segments during her time at King 5. So definitely want to wish her the best.
Absolutely. Great work from Britt. So, shout out to you, love, and we'll be following you as you continue on your journey.
Yeah, no, good stuff. All right. So, man, this was just a good weekend. What's crazy is, like, I'm still high on an overdose of blackness. I just be honest with you, because there's lots of other news that's going on, but it was so much good stuff. And a lot of times here, where a lot of the news that comes out is just negative. And man, this weekend presented an opportunity to just be around so many great positive events right there in our community. They just bucked so many different narratives and trends. Yesterday, well, I guess Sunday, up there at Garfield Playfield, I caught up with the group, with the Deaf Chef, with Ted Evans, and a whole bunch of other people for Black Love Sundays.
Black love is real. Black love is us. It's what we were raised on. It's what we want to continue. And sometimes you just got to put it out there. Black love, we know it exists, but we want to let you know, just in case you don't.
Listen, but we out here Black Love Softball. I cannot be so much excited to see a whole lot of us around here having a good time. You hear me? I got on base and I got home. Didn't say I did a home.
Hopefully we could grow this back to being what it once was. It means so much. Like I said, it's a way to rekindle relationships. Fun gets had up here. Business goes down. New ideas are given birth to. You know what I'm saying? Just like right now, I'm pretty sure before this is said and done, you're going to teach me something I did not know before I got here. Even if that's all I get out of it. So yeah, it's important. This is the most important thing going right now besides our children and our bills and our moral spirit. Yeah, this is us. It's lifelong relationships coming together. We got kids now. Our kids know each other, and they can grow up in this environment, enjoying this.
How you doing? Good to see you, kid. How you been? Oh, I didn't know that.
Man, it's a whole bunch of black love. You know what I'm saying? We just coming to bring the community back into play. You know, we've been doing this Black Love Softball a few years ago. You know, we bringing it back. Just to bring some love back to the city because the energy is so positive and there's so many of us doing so much throughout the community. It's a good time to come together, you know, and collectively just, you know, kind of, I don't know, unwind, you know, so to say, you know, just let our hair down kind of and relax, you know, saying at the same time, build, expect a good time, just some good energy, expect to play some, hopefully get you to play some ball, you know, if nothing else, just come out and just commune, you know, kick it with somebody, meet somebody new, you know, take the experience through the week, you know, the energy, and spread it throughout the city. It's a chance to come back in the community we grew up in and spread the love, you know, makes it feel even that much more special.
Wow, special indeed. Shout out to all of the organizers who helped to make sure that Black fathers were recognized. I mean, a beautiful day. It was Father's Day to see all of those amazing community folks out there with their kids, you know, bringing it back. We've been talking about the, you know, the history of the Negro Leagues here. That's just such a heartwarming story, man. I'm so glad. And honestly, it's a beautiful thing too, because when you're connected to community, all I see is a bunch of faces that I recognize in that clip. Man, shout out to everybody who showed up and showed out on Sunday and really gave some love and appreciation to Black fathers, man. I'm glad we were able to capture that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was right on time. And, you know, Black Love Sunday was actually a really pretty big thing before COVID. And this was their first time kind of reconvening in over a year. And so it was also a reunion as well. But it sounds like they're committed for the rest of the Sundays for through the summer. So another great opportunity for people to come, connect, have community, things like that. So.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get my boys out there.
Yeah. All right. So we played this clip yesterday in your honor because you weren't here. But this is King 5's coverage of the march from 22nd and Madison to Jimi Hendrix Park.
At the end of the day, we really want to showcase what Black brilliance looks like, what Black resilience looks like. Juneteenth is a marker of that excellence.
With music and marching, they made their way through the Central District, taking time to reflect.
We want to give honor to D. Charlene Williams, founder of the Central Area Chamber.
Before it was ever a federal holiday, Juneteenth was recognized around here.
I'm a native.
Philip Miller remembers those days.
I was here when this was was a red line, you know.
He watched the march and appreciates the support.
You know, it makes me feel encouraged, you know what I'm saying, because there's like a multicultural thing going on.
But he wants to see more help for minority-owned businesses here.
The Bills and Wilsons are fine and everything, but the bottom line is, if you ain't got a certain amount of government contracts or some kind of contract allocated to the Black community, I mean, that's no money.
Organizers say they're proud of the change they've seen in Washington State, including some police reforms that went through the legislature. So today can be fun, but there's still so much that needs to happen.
We cannot rest on the wins that we have right now. It's like we have to celebrate, but we have to continue to press.
Amy Marino, King 5 News.
celebrate and continue to press indeed. I mean, this is really the message that I'm so glad Amy Moreno was able to capture about this past weekend's events. You know, as we hear, you know, so many people across this nation talking about how, you know, yeah, okay, we got Juneteenth, but it's just like us having Black History Month, and we're not seeing the material conditions of Black people's lives being elevated and changing in a sustainable, efficient way. And this is exactly why, you know, so much of this weekend for me and so many other organizers was about educating people so that we can understand what we need to continue to do in that effort. But I got to tell you, I'm a both and person. So I'm like, look, I'm not about like, oh, we don't need to celebrate that. Oh, no, we definitely need to celebrate that. And when I think about the legacy of someone like a Miss D. Charlene Williams, who brought the first Juneteenth right here to Seattle's streets, it's important that we celebrate this. It is a win. It definitely is a win for us to be recognized in that regard. Yet, we still have a lot more work to do, Will.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you on that, and I think that any opportunity to celebrate your Blackness is a-okay.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's you know, I guess that's just the tragedy of it all. That even in celebrating your Blackness, it's still, so, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I could celebrate, but I really can't because of, you know. But nonetheless, it was just good to see all these people who, you know, to come out. I mean, there's a lot of people who aren't really partisan, and they're not really on the front end side of policy and politics and everything else. Man, and they were just out to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, and really a lot of people I talked to were very indifferent about the holiday. Of course, the holiday is going to mean more to the rest of America because that's a much bigger population. It's supposed to mean more. It's more people. But, you know, a lot of us have been celebrating Juneteenth in one way or another for so long that it becoming a federal holiday, I just found a lot of indifferentness. People were like, yeah, that's cool anyways.
Yeah.
And just kept it pushing.
You know, one of the things that I think was such a thorough line for me this past weekend was listening to the elders, and so many of them. You know, when I think about how we have the opportunity to celebrate while continuing to work on solutions that are really going to make effective change for our lived experience. I think about, you know, what Dr. Mims said to me. Dr. Mims said, oh, no, we definitely have to celebrate because what is happening right now is bigger than what I've experienced in my lifetime. And this is someone who was right there on the front lines dealing with civil rights era. And to be honest, it's such an honor. I'm always honored and humbled to be able to do the work I'm doing and to hear from someone like Dr. Mims, Nana Kabibi, Patricia Valentine, so many, Joy Hardiman, you know, Miss Gwendolyn. I mean, there's so many names, Reverend Harriet Walden, that say, look, we are doing something different right now in terms of taking bold action. It is a beautiful thing to witness. And honestly, the thousands of people that I saw at Juneteenth just celebrating, man, just getting together, that unity, that was, to me, that was everything, man. That was everything.
Yeah, no, it was. And speaking of that, Sean Good, we talked about the Choose 180 event, the Black Fathers Matter that was down in Tukwila Station. We'll put up that Black Fathers Matter march, honoring and uplifting Black fathers in our community. That's from our partners over there at the South Seattle Emerald, written by Chamade Ford, and that link is in the comments right now, so you can read up and follow up on that Black Fathers Matter event out in Tukwila. And Sean Good, man, always putting in a lot of good work for the community. You were gone. Yo, Sean Good was here, and man, he basically was teaching a master class on grace.
Wow.
Grace and forgiveness. Yeah, I mean, like the whole clip, it went viral. You know, matter of fact, I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah, you were on vacation, and Sean Good, he filled in for me. He was my co-host.
Wow.
Yeah, when you were gone. So Sean Good, Choose 180, the crew over there. Black Fathers Matter. You can definitely read more about that at the South Seattle Emerald.
You know, I think that this is what is so exciting to me. I've been hearing from so many people outside of Washington, right, that live in, you know, predominantly Black communities, Chicago, Detroit, D.C., you know, so many folks, Atlanta, that are like, man, there's something different about how y'all are doing it in Seattle. And it's so amazing because I think while you're here, you realize, man, these are our brothers and sisters that are just out here doing great work. Like you said, Ashawn Good, I mean, to be able to be in community with so many amazing folks like him and others who are really putting their lives at the front of these issues and saying, this is where my energy is going to go. Man, shout out to all of y'all. You know, Sean Good, a King Garrett. I can name so many different people, honestly, that we don't have time for it. But I just want to say a special shout out to everybody who's doing this work. Seattle is really showing something to the nation, man, and that's an honor to be a part of it. So I can't wait to see the clip because I know Sean Good went off. I know he did. I mean, he always is bringing some greatness with him, and so I'm glad that you had him on while I was away.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to remember when you said that Seattle's doing something different, that Seattle's consistently been where we live in a bellwether state, Washington State, and Seattle sets the trends on a lot of things nationally. You know, there's so many things that we're the first in here, and whether it's technology, innovation, things around civil rights. Even look at COVID. Like, you know what I'm saying? We were the very first to have our fire department to be able to give the vaccine. We were one of the first to take, you know what I'm saying, to remove the tariff on transit. We were the first. They sent out food vouchers right away, and so, you know, our innovation throughout our city just continues. But I think that what we're doing in our community to make it a better place is definitely rising more and more.
It is. One last thing I'll say, our headliner, Seven Streeter, just being able to speak to her and to say, wow, I'm just saying, y'all are doing something major here in Seattle. It's another testament when you think about somebody who's been able to travel globally like you, I mean, we've seen this time and time again. So I love that we are a bellwether state and that there are some, I mean, it's positive and negative, right? We've talked about weed and seed and how that was here as well.
They started that here too.
Exactly. So we understand it's not all the positive, but right now we can celebrate a lot of that positivity that, you know, we hope is a beacon for the rest of the nation.
Yeah, no, for sure. I got one more headline that I wanted to put in here and just point something out. And go ahead. Seattle City Council making new push to limit SPD's use of crowd control weapons. You can find that there at the Capitol Hill Seattle blog. That's our buddy Justin Carter. So I want to just point this out here to the good citizens here in the Emerald City. What's happening right now is what should have happened last year, but the city council was playing with the emotions of the citizens of the city. And so what they want to do now is they want to go and talk about tear gas and all these less than lethals and everything else. And now they're talking about they want to work with the federal monitor and work within the consent decree and all these other things. Nobody had the guts to tell the citizens last year, like, hey, man, you know what? If we pass this law, it's just going to get struck down. So let's just go ahead and work within the framework to make sure that it stays, right? They didn't do that. What they all did do was they passed this law saying, hey, we want to ban tear gas, which would turn out to be a performative act because most of them are lawyers that are on the city council. You know what I'm saying? It's a performative act. And they knew. They didn't tell the public, but they knew that dog wasn't gonna hunt, man. And what happened is, and look how they played the people here in the city, right? They passed a law unanimously that they knew couldn't get enacted. They never really told the public it couldn't get enacted. And then what happened, right? What happened is in the 11th hour, the Trump administration, right? Because that's how they played it. The Trump administration knocks down the city council's valiant effort to pass a law banning tear gas. Trump administration, because it's a federal judge, Judge Robart, you know, it's in a federal court, and it's, of course, under the Trump administration. But this is how, and so when you guys are looking and voting and all this kind of stuff and everything else, you need to look at how the city council has manipulated the people in the city. No one just had the backbone to be like, hey, you know what? sure, we want to change this law, but let's wait. And actually, if they just would have waited 1 month, because there was reports on less than lethal that were coming out, I believe in August, from the OIG and from the CPC and maybe even OPA on less than lethals. But they were playing a game and put the citizens of Seattle on an emotional roller coaster that they knew the outcome. And so that's when people ask me why I'm skeptical of a lot of stuff that comes out of city council in City Hall, is because I seen them with eyes wide open play the citizens of this city. And now here we are a year later, they're going through the proper process, talking about they want to work with the monitor, they want to make sure that whatever law they make sticks. But they played with them people who was in the streets last year, man, and that ain't right.
You know what? This is a great testament. I mean, when we talk about really learning from these actions that play out right before our eyes, it's important that we open our eyes and really pay attention. And this is why we talk so much about being a part of the process. When you actually are looking at how your council member in your district is voting on a lot of these things, how they're moving, it's important and imperative, because I think so much is correct here when we talk about there's an opportunity to just be honest, and we don't see that enough from our city council. We don't see it enough, and honestly, it's not bold action that they're taking, right, in terms of let me just be real with y'all about what we know is going to happen with this. They allowed it to play out. A lot of people were so excited, happy to see that it passed, and then had to deal with the flashback, you know, the outcome.
It was last-minute drama.
And once again,
at the federal courthouse.
It isn't. It was an opportunity for them to be transparent, and yet, you know, that's how it plays out. Oh, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, and so this is what I'm saying, and so I mean, we're letting you, the citizens, know, right? And you need to ask yourself, how come nobody had the willingness or the courage 1 year ago to just be like, hey, it's the process. I mean, there was some changes can't occur until they hit Olympia. Yeah. And people were saying, like, you know what, the legislature has to get in session. We're months away from that. Keep your eye on it until the legislature's in session. But nobody was willing to be like, you know what, hey, I'm against tear gas. I don't want this to happen. But you know what, good citizens, I want to give you a realistic timeline of what it's going to take to make this change and what obstacles are there and what we need to do. That's all people need to do is talk to the people. But instead, people are feeding Twitter. They were feeding all the wrong things instead of just feeding truth and feeding accountability and just going around the process the right way.
Yeah, and I think that, now with it being uplifted again, it's an opportunity for all of us as citizens to really pay attention to this process, educate ourselves on how these processes unfold so that we can understand the details. I think so much of this is because many of us don't understand the details and how things move through, how something actually becomes a law, right? All of those things are really important. So I think it's an opportunity for all of us to really pay close attention to how this process now is going to play out.
Yeah, and it's real deal. And I'm back in my No Excuses shirt again today because it's like, we don't want to overlap campaigns as we celebrate Pride Month. But, that's going to be our rallying call for these politicians and aspiring politicians. Man, the jig is up. No excuses. You know what I'm saying? We finna push this no excuses hard because, like I said, I was out there in those streets, and I remember the impact, of a city council at many times it was spineless in their actions. I mean, it was like they were scared of the constituents. To just tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just tell the truth. This is what's going to happen. This is how it's X, Y, and Z. No one was willing to jump out there on this particular issue. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I agree. Being in leadership is hard. That's what you signed up for. Telling people hard things is part of the job. And I mean, like I said, man, it's a lot of people don't realize it. And because Trump was in office, the city council, the story wasn't that the city council moved to pass a law that they knew couldn't be passed because it had to go through the monitor. Because Trump was in office, the story was Trump administration sues city of Seattle over tear gas ban, because they went for a TRO, a temporary restraining order against the city of Seattle against the tear gas ban. And so I don't know if that was part of the orchestrated efforts or not, but the real truth about it got overlooked because they were able to be like, oh, see, the Trump administration wants the SPD to be able to gas people, and that wasn't the point at all. The point is that the city council knew that in order to make any changes to Seattle Police Department policy, that it needed to go through the process with the consent decree. And, I could go on and on about it. And that's why I would just encourage people, man. You know what I'm saying? No excuses for these politicians. No excuse. Seeing this story just put me in some kind of mood because it reminds me how they lied to these kids in the street.
Yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, you're absolutely right. And this is exactly why so much of what we do now, when we talk about transformative change, man, it's on us to be educated because we see that, again, nobody is going to save us, right? It doesn't matter what you're talking about at the end of the day. When we're more educated, we're able to do that. And I will say this, that so much of being able to be a leader and have that seat and hold it so wholeheartedly is for you to actually connect with the people. And that's what we don't see enough of, is real, true, honest connection with the people. When you have those platforms, utilizing it to really elevate the understanding amongst the people so they understand the process. Open up your own minds. We know you guys have busy schedules, but the least you could do is really be open and honest and transparent with the people that put you in those seats. To me, it's just imperative. But again, we need to see more of that.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, man, this one hit me too. I've been following it for quite a few days. Is taking Black pride and the whole interaction with Capitol Hill pride. And we're going to talk about this when we return. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Hey, it's Jake from Converge Media and Get the F Outside. I hope that all of you are taking advantage of the ability to be outdoors and enjoy nature as our summer months heat up. One other thing that you can take advantage of here in the King County area are free COVID-19 vaccinations. There's all kinds of options for pop-up clinics, and the vaccine is able to be administered to anyone 12 years and older. And did I mention that it's free? You don't need insurance, and they don't care what your citizenship status is. And that kind of sounds like the way things should be anyhow, but we'll save that for another conversation. Information and resources are available at kingcounty.gov/COVID, or you can call the COVID-19 call center at 206-477-3977. Washington, we are almost out of this, but we got to stay locked in for the home stretch. Let's get vaxxed out so we can max out our time with friends, family, and in the great outdoors.
Public Health, Seattle King County, Zero Youth Detention, along with our partners from across the South King County region, are committed to reducing violence and creating the conditions needed for our neighborhoods to be safe and free of crime. Too often, the response to crime and violence has been a piecemeal approach with a program here and a program there. When family units collapse, schools fail to educate, the economy fails to produce jobs, and crime rises, we've looked to law enforcement and punitive measures to save us. Nothing could be more wrong or further from the truth. Law enforcement can't shoulder all the burden or take the rest of us off the hook. We are acknowledging the lived experiences of Black, brown, and indigenous communities. We are centering community as the experts who can effectively identify key issues related to systems, policies, and practices that impact children, families, and communities of color across this region. Those most impacted by the issues will help call out and identify the root causes, including structural and systemic factors. 150 residents will partner with King County to develop strategies, solutions, and an action plan that explicitly addresses system changes needed and eliminates barriers to access for Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks. These residents will also identify the criteria used to measure our collective success. Simply put, we need your help as we do the work needed to make King County the safest in this country. It will take specific commitments from all of us, community members, our young people, elders, and leaders from the sectors all across this region. Together, we will get this work done. Please click the link below and sign up for a work group. Or you can recommend a co-facilitator from community for each work group. We look forward to hearing your ideas, concerns, feedback, and solutions as we build a community where all our children can be happy, healthy, hopeful, safe, and thriving.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there. We're going to continue on in this show, man. Big O, man, we got more news to cover, my friend.
Tuesday sounds so far from Friday. You even was thinking about it when you were saying happy Tuesday. Man, well, one thing that's happy, though, is the weather is nice.
Oh, it's so beautiful, man. I mean, come on. I mean, it's one of those days where it's like, get out there and enjoy the lakes, man. We got some beautiful lakes out here. You know, now things are opened up. Folks can get out there and get cool, man. You know, we've been telling folks to stay cool, man. I say, hit up those lakes.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so this was a big deal last week, and we couldn't really cover it right. And so, you know, a lot of times if I can't get it right, I'll just give it some time to be able to try to figure out what's going on. But we got a headline right here. This is from Capitol Hill Seattle blog. After complaint against Black Pride events, reparations fee, wave of cancellations hit tiny Capitol Hill Pride's big plans for in-person festival. And so basically there's Capitol Hill Pride. There's Pride Seattle, which is the big pride that people are really used to. And there's Capitol Hill Pride, and it's put on by Charlotte Lefevre and a few other people there, and planned for in-person up on Capitol Hill. And, you know, lots of people are supposed to be there in attendance. Lots of politicians, people running for office. You know, they'd all signed up, be supportive of Capitol Hill Pride. Well, another group, the Black group, right? A coalition kind of representing the Black trans community, they got an event over at Jimi Hendrix. And matter of fact, let me get the wording right here. Sorry, everybody. They have the Taking Black Pride event, right? And, I mean, basically what they're saying is all are free to attend. However, this is a Black and brown, queer, trans-centered, prioritized, valued event. White allies and accomplices are welcome to attend, but will be charged a $10 to $50 reparations fee that will be used to keep the event free of cost for Black and brown, trans, and queer community. So basically what they're saying is, you know, I mean, per this flyer right here, is they're doing their own thing, you know, over at Jimi Hendrix Park for the Black, trans, queer community. They got their own thing popping. And they're like, if you want to come over there, then you need to pay the fee. And Capitol Hill Pride, they ain't like that. And, I mean, they went off all the way down to sending a letter to the Office of Civil Rights. Office of Civil Rights kind of clapped back on them, though. Office of Civil Rights was like, yo, man, these guys doing their thing is not a violation of the Geneva Convention, some other stuff, everything else. But it's crazy that, like, it became such a big, it really became a big negative firestorm for Capitol Hill Pride, and probably a big, you know, whatchamacallit, for Taking Black Pride, because their actions over there. So, like, you have people like Lorena Gonzalez pull out, Justin Farrow pulled out. There's different businesses that pulled out. Like, all of these people had committed to Capitol Hill Pride. And if Capitol Hill Pride probably just kept their eyes on their own thing and whatever, I mean, they would have had, a great successful event. I'm sure that taking Black Pride, a successful event. But man, it really pulled out a lot of different issues, Trey. You know what I'm saying? Capitol Hill. I'm gonna get into it, but I got my own issues with Capitol Hill and the CD that I'll get into here. But first of all, what do you think though? Because I know you're a big pay the fee kind of person. What do you think of the taking Black Pride and them saying like, hey, if you're part of the community, come in. If you're not part of the community, pay the fee?
I think that there's a lot of things going on around events that are really Black-centric. And it's not the first event that I've seen that was Black-centric and that said, look, if you want to participate, we're going to need you to do something more to participate. I think that you really hit the nail on the head here, Omari, that if Capitol Hill Pride would have just allowed taking Black Pride to do their own thing and kind of just focused on their event, there wouldn't be any backlash. Because the honest truth is are you really against, Black folks having some form of reparations? It kind of goes back to that, where you have to atone with, the fact that, hey, there is a difference, right? And we talk about it in Black community all the time. And this is why for us, it's all about all Black people. If you see a Black person, they're Black before you know they're gay, right? Or trans or queer or whatever else, right? Or non-conforming. You actually just see a Black person. And so, Black folks wanting to get together to celebrate in their own regard when it comes to Pride, to me, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And of course, I don't think there's anything wrong with them opening it up to others and say, look, if you want to participate, there will be a fee for you to participate. I don't inherently see a problem with that. But I do understand why, from a politician's perspective, they wouldn't want to be connected to the messaging that, hey, Capitol Hill Pride had a problem with them doing an event away from where they're doing theirs. Not that it would encroach on theirs, not that they really didn't have any reason to specify that they had an issue with what's going on at Jimi Hendrix Park while their event is happening in Capitol Hill. So honestly, I can understand why, politicians and inspiring politicians would want to pull out from that and not be connected to that, because anything that slightly looks like a bit of hate or bigotry or bias or white privilege or anything else, right now a lot of folks are hopping on it. And it's not a smart move if you ask me.
Right. And if you look at the wording, right, there's a lot of stuff that's out there, especially events that are out there, where it says free for members, $25 for non-members. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that you're a member of quite a few things. I mean, you guys have all kinds of events up there at Black Dot, all kinds of classes. I know that if you're a member of Black Dot, then you get all the classes for the year free. If you're not a member of Black Dot and you come for a class, you pay the fee. And so, they've used the word reparations in there because, that's the literal term that they want to use, reparate. But the concept of members are free and non-members pay, it's the thing. This is why people, see, we get that part, right?
It's nothing new.
Right.
You're right.
And I just, personally, I really feel like, first of all, I want to be very clear, at Converge Media, that we acknowledge and we uplift the humanity and the dignity of our trans brothers and sisters, and we acknowledge, the journey that you're going through. Let's be 100% clear, And when I said like how I feel, this really stuck with me, talking about the Central District and Capitol Hill. I share with people that my oldest brother Hiram, rest in peace, 16 years he's been gone. And it still feels like yesterday. But my oldest brother Hiram, he came out, in the 80s. And the Black community didn't quite fit in because he was gay and Black in Seattle. And this white community up there on Capitol Hill that has come a long way, But that white community there, they didn't have no space for gay people that didn't quite look like them. There wasn't no space for no black gay kid from the Central District. You know, there wasn't. And so, like, to me, and I was just a little kid. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they didn't make space for my brother and for people like him. And that's why you got organizations like POCAN, People of Color Against AIDS Network, because even then on that hill, on Capitol Hill, resources, it was discriminated. You know what I'm saying? There was no space for the black community to be open in their gayness up there on Capitol Hill and to be who they were. You know what I'm saying? And so this just reminds me. It just reminds me. It's like these guys over there at Jimi Hendrix Park, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing. And it's like, I mean, it's bothered me. I ain't talked about it, but it bothers me because people don't ever want to acknowledge that. We you know what I'm saying? We acknowledge and people wave the flag and everything up on Capitol Hill, but they need to acknowledge the fact that black gay people was really excluded. You know what I'm saying? That's why they had to create their own resource networks, their own whatever and everything else. And even right now, I could probably tell you when dollars are allocated, when big sponsors come in and they want to sponsor with organizations and everything else, I'm betting that black organizations come up there with less money and less resources and less everything else. And it's just the act here. And I'm not trying to apologize. You know, these people, Capitol Pride, they apologize. They put out an apology. And, you know, I'm one of the kind of people of like, man, you know what? If you're sincere and you apologize, whatever. The bigger issue is just, man, the way is like I'm talking about is that there's a history. And this whole week's events about this, man, it just kind of took me into a time machine. And I just want to acknowledge, man, there's a lot of people that are out there in that community, you know what I'm saying, in the LGBTQ community, especially black people, and it's especially older, who I'm sure, man, they'll tell you. And I just want to acknowledge all of them. You know what I'm saying? And, man, just know we're always going to stand on the side of right. It's not all right. It's not all right to bully people because they're different.
Yeah.
It's not all right. It's not all right to just, man, do you know how hard the life is for the average trans person, especially black trans? Like, they rose hard enough, get off their goddamn back.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, I mean, come on now. This is something, you know, we both really experienced in our family. And when my Uncle Holiday was growing up and just goodness, both of our family members rest in paradise. You know, they created their own. This is exactly what Paris is Burning is all about. This is exactly when you talk about them doing balls and all of that. It was because, again, they weren't being included in the larger conversation of the struggle for, you know, gay and lesbian and queer and transsexual lives. They really weren't. And so there was always these subcultures that populated because of that. And that's why, for me, it's actually shocking to hear this story, because those folks up there in Capitol Hill doing Capitol Hill Pride, it's not as if this history is falling on them. They know this. They absolutely understand this. And it took many years of organizing in the gay black community for them to be included. You know, what we saw when I was growing up in the 90s, it was different. But as O was talking about, it was such a different era in the 80s, in the 70s. It was different. And my uncle, if he was still here to this day, he would be able to speak to the exact elements that Omari's bringing up that his brother dealt with. It was so many amazing people in the black community that was a glass ceiling for them. They weren't able to transcend and go over to this side of what was happening in this major mainstream. So they created their own. And we've seen this in black culture time and time again. When we're not included, we create our own. And then what ends up happening, I got to go here, because then it gets appropriated. Now, everybody wants to say all of the terminology that comes from the gay black community. it gets appropriated. It gets misappropriated, right? All this, yes, queen, all that kind of stuff. It became so popularized because now everybody wants to pick it up. But we have to be real honest with ourselves about where it originates from. And I feel your pain on that, brother, because the truth of the matter is it's not okay. That's why I can't even imagine that they would do this in 2021, that they would say anything against anybody trying to celebrate. At the end of the day, what we really need is love. When we talk about erring on the side of humanity, that is really going in love, man. And at the end of the day, if you can't do that, keep your mouth shut, man.
Exactly. And excuse me, I think that, it's a hard road for our black trans community. Hard road. I learned a lot last when it was the Trans Prayer Week.
Yeah.
And just me, I got people in every aspect of humanity. Converge has friends and supporters, that's because that's who we for, is we for humanity. And like I said, I don't know, this whole story just hit me in a whole nother place, man, because, just let these people live, let them have their thing, you know what I'm saying? And this is just like I said, if it's for me who's not a member of that community but remembers the timeline, if this has impacted me, imagine how many other people watching this play out has impacted them. And we always say we got to tell the whole story. Let's continue to tell the whole story. And the whole story of Seattle, man, is really a story of a city that aspires to be, but not quite yet. We aspire to be the super liberal place that everybody is open and this and that, and people get along and it's great, diverse. Maybe that's our inspiration, but we need to stop lying and saying that that's where we're at today. It's okay to be like, hey, that's who we aspire to be. You know what I'm saying? But we're just not quite there yet. And for this, imagine being one of the event organizers who you're just sitting there, you're doing your thing, it's going to be great, you're getting all your setup, and then out of nowhere, you just come under attack out of nowhere. And it's just like, I could really see, and I'm going to roll over there on the 26th. I could really see somebody being like, damn, even in trying to do our own thing in our own space, in our own legacy neighborhood, we still can't get no peace.
You know what? And this is really just a testament to black organizing in general and black event coordination. We deal with it all the time. You know what I'm saying? We deal with it all the time, and we talk about it from a wide variety of perspectives. As we see, this year is kind of a transformative year, with Juneteenth now being a national holiday. And, we did the largest Juneteenth last year. Then we just try to replicate that again this year and really have an opportunity for people to be out there. So trust me, I deal with it too. We get emails and we get people saying ignorant things and wanting to, break up the monotony or try to figure out how they can do this. At the end of the day, man, you gotta let people do what they're doing. And this is a real example for us to remember and to learn from. All of you guys over there at Capitol Hill Pride, if you guys can hear what Omari is saying and really take it to heart, because maybe you weren't thinking that way when you made these attacks or said whatever you said about going against this beautiful event. But it really is time for us to stop doing that. Stop with the attacks on folks. If people are moving in ways that you maybe don't agree with, or they have a different strategy, allow them to do what they're doing while you do what you're doing. I think it's so evident in a multitude of ways that these pride events are an example of that. If we continue on in that regard, we're just going to keep on attacking each other, when really we have an opportunity for people to step up and begin to lead what transformation looks like. And that's going to take all of us. So you guys do your thing in Capitol Hill, man, let them do their thing and let them do it freely without you saying anything against them. And I say this to all event coordinators and organizers. I think it's important that we say, you know what, fine. You want to do your thing over there? It's cool. We're going to do our thing over here. Please let us live. We're going to let you live. That's just it, man. We all need to learn from this. Oh.
Yeah. And, I mean, one of the things is that it's funny, we talked about Sean Good earlier. Sean Good, we talked about leaving some grace.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we press the nuclear button on things. And, I mean, I would just say that, like, people, man, it's a lot. I didn't expect this whole story to kind of like, you know what I'm saying, impact me like this. And I'm a real objective person. I can see how, people using the word reparations and this and that and all these other kinds of things. And then also when you take note of the environment of the city and the municipality that we live in, and the time and the space that we're in, and and everything else. Also, you could take if you anyways, I won't go into all the details of all that. I know we're coming up against the hour. We're going to take a short break here in a second, but I would say this, that it's been 16 years since my brother passed away. And I was a kid when he was getting shut out up on Capitol Hill and the black gay community was getting bullied. And I'll just say this, bro, wherever you at, no more grown up now. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna be pushing you all around. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and I'm just so moved by our last segment, honestly. And I just got to echo those words from Omari. He's really touching me over here because we both really dealt with this in our own families, and it really takes a different notion when you have a personal, real curated history with something like this. And so I'm really glad that we were able to take some time right here on the Morning Update Show to shed some light on this issue. And I'm also thankful that we waited for it to play out a bit more so that we could have all of the information that we needed to disseminate to you all. And that's what we're about here, is really trying to be that conduit of information. So Big O, I just can't thank you enough for being so vulnerable and personal in that last segment to share, how it's really impacting you. And I'm just with you all the way on that one, brother.
But thanks, I appreciate it. I mean, this is what I'm saying. We tell people, tell the whole story. I'll continue to tell that story, and I can't wait for another opportunity to tell all the amazing stories about my brother and everything else. This is just one aspect of his life and his journey and experience here. You know what I'm saying? But it isn't even how he died. It's how he lived. And you know what I'm saying? He was a big part of that community and still beloved all these years later. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm telling you, man, I love all God's people. And when I say it, I say it. And when I mean it, I mean it. The last segment, we had the event flyer. You going to go ahead and put that up? Because we wanted to mention it. So this is the actual event flyer here for taking Black Pride. This on the 26th at 1 p.m. there, Jimi Hendrix Park. Jimi Hendrix Park's getting a lot of use these days, huh?
You know what? I got to say it, man, and it's such a beautiful thing to see because I'll tell you this much. I don't remember it ever being so lit. In the last 2 years, I feel like it has been more lit than ever. And, you know, as we shared a clip just recently about Tina Hendricks, you know, being on a national TV syndicate, it's great honor to be able to celebrate all of these amazing events at Jimi Hendrix and really shine some light on such a great legacy that we have here in Seattle. So, man, shout out to you guys for organizing Take Black Pride. I love this concept. And, man, I'm just elated that things are happening there, that you guys took the notion to say, we want to do something in order to celebrate ourselves and not necessarily have to be wrapped up in what other people are organizing. That, to me, is another example of what leadership looks like. And it's you guys seeing yourself as a part of the solution and being very specific about who your audience is. I'm not mad at y'all at all. Hats off to all of y'all organizers over there for making that happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're up against the clock, Trey. Any last words before we get out of here?
You guys know me, man. See yourself as part of the solution. Clearly, the organizers of Taking Black Pride have. The organizers of so many different amazing Juneteenth events have. And it's important that we, as a city and as a state, really continue in our bellwether notion of showcasing to the rest of the nation how we get things done. But it takes all of us. So find a way to see yourself as a part of these amazing solutions happening around you.
Yeah. Sorry. I would say that I just want to remind everybody that, you know, the extending humanity and extending dignity and courtesy and respect to people, you know, it doesn't, that extension doesn't stop just at people who look like you or orient like you or have the same religion as you or even follow the same baseball team. I give a lot of grace to Yankee fans. You know what I'm saying? Man, we got to work on our humanity, man. You know, and we need to be able to understand where people are at sometimes in their life journey as well. And that's working on our empathy. That's another thing there. But it's like, man, we got the capacity and the capability to just be so much better as a people. You know, but it takes the intentionality to do that. On that note, man, we're going to get out of here. And it's Tuesday. We got anything programming today? Tuesday night? Maybe I get to go home and actually go to sleep for once. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here. So, as usual, I want to remind you to go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day.